let me see if I understand at least the beginning of this story. Mr. Diamond and your daughter, whose name is Kimberly,
Yes, ma'am.
dated for a while, but then became friends,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
To a certain extent, yes.
Where am I mistaken?
We departed for roughly a year or two as bitter enemies for quite some time. The reason for that was we had problems with her mother when we were living together, and she interfered constantly.
But then you moved into her house.
Yes. Once, I know, shame on you, twice shame on me.
You let him move into your house after he and your daughter were no longer together.
He tried to get back in Kim's good graces, and they had become friends, and he was coming over, and they went dancing a couple of times as friends, and I really thought that he'd grown up and that he was taking responsibility for his life. And he came to me and, you know, needed a place to live, and I, you know, told him I was, going to Texas for a traveling nurse assignment, and that...
Is that what you do for a living? You're a nurse?
Yes, ma'am. I'm an RN, labor and delivery. And so I thought, you know, this might be kind of nice because then she wouldn't be alone at night. And,
Just Kimberly lived in the house?
and my granddaughter, Brittany, who is 6 years old.
So you let him move in. What was your financial arrangement with him?
That he pay his rent, and he pay half the utilities, and his food, half the cable, and all of his phone calls. But that's not exactly what happened.
Well, let's hear what happened.
Well, he was starting a new business with a friend, and they talked me into investing $1,000. And I was a little bit skeptical, but David promised me that I would get my money.
Michael.
Mr. Diamond.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Promised me that I would get my money back, you know, that I wouldn't have a problem, and it looked pretty decent, you know, and I mean, he just swore up and down that I would, you know, I wouldn't lose my money. And
But you ended up losing your money because the business failed, according to your complaint.
Right, it did.
How much money does he owe you in rent?
I went month by month. I didn't do it by that. He owes about $1,000 in rent from October, November, December, and January, and February was $250 apiece. He owes for cable bill, he owes for gas bill and electric and phone.
How much is all of that together?
And $1,000, and then I loaned him money. I've got the checks here, and it all comes to $5,736.
Well, if you've got the checks, did he pay you?
No, he stopped payment on some of them.
Can I see those checks where he stopped payment?
Note the date on those, please, Your Honor.
The last month he was there, he stopped payment on them after he told me to put them in to semi-country where I live. And then I had to go make the $200 payment to cover the checks that he stopped payment on.
Oh, this was a $650 amount of money that is your check to him for a loan, and
Yes.
another $200 loan
Plus
made
the
out to
FedEx.
David.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he ever repay these loans?
No, ma'am. He always gave me a con story that he owed his family money and that he had to pay them back first, and then he'd get around to paying me, but it never came.
So this is for the rent, and these other amounts
Right.
for his rent. This alone is almost $1,000, these
Yes, ma'am.
loans. All right, now I've read your answer, Mr. Diamond, and your answer, it's like we're living in two separate storybooks. You say that you had absolutely no obligation to pay anything because he was supposed to be the fix-it person around the house.